Hello friends, Phoebe here with Yoga TX, and today we're going to be doing a really nice 20-minute hip opener sequence. It's mostly going to be on the floor, so if you need, you can always grab a rolled up towel or blanket to sit on, and then grab a block or two. We'll be using that later on in the flow, and we're just going to really work on stretching and opening up the hips. I know my hips are pretty tight today, so I thought you would also enjoy this. We're going to start with our feet together, and depending on how open you already are, you might want to bring your heels close for more of a stretch or a little bit out. And we're gonna hold our feet like we're reading a book. And we're gonna press the feet into one another, and we're gonna keep the spine straight for this. So just tilt forward from your hips, close your eyes, and let your body tell you how far to go. And don't go past the point where you need to round your spine. Keep shoulders on the back and away from the ears. Just breathe in. Space to your hips and your inner legs. Rock side to side. And a little flapping of the wings like we're butterflies, hence butterfly pose for springtime. Then come back to stillness and just take 3 more breaths here. Sending that inhale all the way down to the ground. Using your breath to open up your body before your muscular effort. And we're going to come back up, outstretch the left leg, bring the sole of the right foot in. We're going to keep this leg flexed and engaged, pushing down into the earth. And we want to keep this knee and leg rooted as well. So if you feel like you're coming off, you can always grab your prop if you need more support and put it here, or the block. And we're going to bring the left forearm to the inside of the left leg. And same thing here, you can bring your blanket to the inside or a block right here for support. We're gonna come here, and then we're gonna place our hand on our hip, and we wanna keep that right hip rooted down. And keep this knee also melting towards the earth. As a counterweight, start to stretch the top of your hips on the right side, maybe getting into the side here. Close your eyes and breathe. Send your inhale down so low that your hand can feel your lower torso inflate. Now bring your hand to your rib cage, just lightly rest it here. Send your inhale to your right lung. Keep letting the right knee descend towards the earth. You can stay here, or you can inhale the right arm up and hinge at the elbow. And you can look down, neck is secondary here. And if you've lost connection with your top right hip, low back, then I would bring the arm back down. So we're focusing on here. And keep breathing. And then now we're going to move the left arm to the outside of that left leg, and we're going to square our shoulders, still engaging this leg, and it's a bit of a twist. And again, keep the spine straight here to get more into this part of the hip. So the hips aren't just where we typically think of them. It's a huge unit, and there's so many different muscles working to move your hips and support your hips. So we're getting into all these nooks and crannies that we forget are all connected. Again, keep lengthening the spine and coming lower. Lengthen on the inhale. Exhale, maybe bring just your chest a little bit lower. And now inhale up. Option to counter twist like this. Or if you want, we're gonna come on to the right shin. Arm can be up and back, and move your hips forward. So we're moving the hips forward. Breathe here. Straighten your arm as much as you can, the left arm, not the right. The right arm can be as bent as needed because it's weight bearing. Fingertips away from the toes on the left side. And exhale, coming back down to earth. And let's move to the other side. And again, treat this side as if you didn't have another side. So whatever this side is calling for, honor its own experience. We're gonna bring the right arm down. Left hand comes to left hip. Breathe so deep that your left hand feels the inflation of your torso on the top of your hip here. Again, neck can be looking down. Doesn't matter. And then option to bring left hand resting here. Breathing into the left lung. Keep letting that left knee melt towards the earth for more traction on the left hip. Right foot flexed. And then option to extend up and hinge over. So stretching from elbow all the way down to that hip. And then now we're gonna square, come up just a little bit. Square and frame the right leg. Inhale, chest up, spine long. Exhale, hinge at the hips, but keep the spine as straight as you can. Inhale, maybe come up just a little bit. Exhale, come a little bit down. Keep squaring the shoulder girdle over that leg to exaggerate sensation here. 3 more breaths. Just letting your body move you. We often think in yoga that we have to stick a pose, but poses are living and breathing because we are living and breathing. So let the movement happen. And then begin to walk up. Again, counter twist, stay here or come up on the left side and stretch right toes away from right fingertips. Breathing, hips move forward. Keep the focus on the hips moving forward. And exhale. Sound effects and everything. We're gonna bring the knees in together. We're gonna come to all fours. Now we're going to stretch the front of the hips. Grab a block. You may or may not need it. I do in this pose. So from all fours, we're going to bring the right foot forward. And we want to be low and moving forward with that back leg here. Keep breathing. Keep the block right here. Left fist or hand to the ground. Inhale, right arm up in this twist. Inhale, get long. Exhale, slowly stretch forward, circling that arm down to the inside of that right foot. This is where you might need a block to rest your forearms on. And because this is about the hips, it doesn't matter how low you get with your torso or your neck. You should feel a stretch on the front here and stretch on the right hip. Option to come onto the right pinky toe, letting your knee fall out even more. if you do this, flex your toes to protect your ankle, and then let your head and neck relax. Close your eyes, and energetically keep drawing yourself forward. So we're not actually moving, it's just the energy, where the energy's going here. Breathing into the front of the back hip and the inner front right hip right now. Three more breaths. Now, bring your hands to the ground. Remove the block, just set it, keep it nearby. We're gonna re-glue that right foot if it wasn't already, and we're gonna spin the back shin 45 degrees. And we're gonna walk the hands out like downward facing dog. So we're in this hybrid mythical animal of a dog mixed with a little lower warrior here. And again, push into the earth. Active arms and hands to support the opening of your hip. The front knee is moving forward and back. You might feel it down into the inner thigh of the right leg. 3 more breaths. Send your breath down again into the right hip, bringing oxygen and nutrients to that part of the body that's opening. And walk your hands back under your shoulders. Reframe and center that front foot. Back shin comes back to starting point here. And then bring that right knee back. Let's just do 3 cat-cows to neutralize between sides. So let your belly get soft. Exhale, push the ground away. 2 more. Inhaling through tabletop and cow. Exhaling, pushing the ground away. 1 last time. And 1 last cat. Meow. And come back to neutral. Cat sound optional. We're gonna bring the left foot forward here. Again, get low with the hips, move forward. Get steady. Keep this nearby. Right hand or fist comes to the earth. Left arm spins up, get long, and then exhale. Windmill it down to the inside of the left foot here. Grab your block if needed, and then let the left knee fall out to the side. Pinky toe, toes flex towards that shin. And again, press into your hands if they're together, and imagine you're dragging yourself forward here. Sending your inhale to the left side. And if dragging yourself forward just energetically is too much, just hang out and you can let gravity work on you. 2 more breaths. And begin to come up, re-glue that foot. Spin the back shin 45 degrees. And walk on out to downward dog, torso here in this weird mix hieroglyphic shape with your lower body. Just press the ground away, moving hips back and knee back to exaggerate sensation in the left hip, maybe left inner thigh. Relax your jaw, leaving space between your teeth. If your knee is bugging you, you can always curl the back toes. 2 more of your own breaths. And then walk your hands back up. Pivot on your knee, reframe the front foot. And this time we're going to come to pigeon on this side. So we're gonna let the knee fall out. And we want the left knee all the way out to the edge of the mat. And contrary to popular belief, at least in yoga classes, your shin never has to come parallel to the edge of this mat for it to be pigeon or full pigeon. You always want to protect your knees, especially this front one. Leg back towards the edge of the mat and in towards the midline. Keep the toes curled to protect that low knee at first. Squeeze your inner thighs together, so bringing some strength into the hips before we descend. And then now we can begin to walk forward, relaxing the foot if it's comfortable. We're gonna come to the right forearm here. Left hand comes to left hip. Just a little twist. Breathe. 2 more. And we're gonna unwind and come down to pigeon. So if this hip doesn't feel supported, grab your blanket or a towel and put it underneath for support to bring the ground up to meet you. And come down. You can come down to your forearms. You can rest your head on a block. And the challenge in this pose is to be able to sit with intense sensation in the left hip. There's a secondary sensation in the front of the right hip. So as long as there's no sharp nerve pain type of feeling in your joints, see how much you can relax into sensation. Can you soften the muscles around the hip bones and the head of the femur? Imagine your skin is softening. Imagine all the connective tissue is also softening. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. If you are really enjoying this pose or feel like you need longer, please pause the video here and stay for as long as you want. Otherwise, we're going to begin to come up. We're going to come back up. We're going to curl the back toes. Feel all the creakiness. Come back to down dog, but straighten and just bring any movement you need to that left leg that was compressed. You know, some people like to stretch it out in the air and twist. Just do whatever feels good here. Not what it looks like. And then we're gonna come back to all fours. And swing the right leg up, right knee all the way out to the right. As with Warrior One, we want our hips facing the floor, so they're square to the floor. And again, back leg moves back, getting long. Squeezing inner thighs together. Breathing into the strength of your hips. And exhale, left forearm comes down, right hand on your right thigh, just twist here. And then come on down to pigeon on this side. So I like to think of my mat, my body, when I'm practicing yoga as not only my mat and my body, but a laboratory for putting my body through different sensations and stresses and learning to regulate my nervous system when it feels like it's raised and I'm anxious, or also learning how to, and so calming it down if I do feel anxiety, but also if I feel depressed or sluggish, learning how to raise up the energy that I need. And Pigeon is a great pose for learning how to regulate. For me, it's very like confrontation, sensation. Do I squirm around it? Do I pretend that it's not there? Or can I recognize that it's there and I can soften into it and accept that this is what's happening in the present moment. So think of this as like a little Buddhist laboratory. It's learning to sit with what is. And again, 3 more breaths. Option to pause here if that's what you need. Begin to walk up. And just push back to down dog just to, oh yeah, feel the rush of blood and energy back into that right leg. Doing whatever feels good. Listening to your body for how to move energy through. And then now, coming back to all fours. Coming to kneeling, swinging the legs out in front. And we're making our way back down to the ground. We're gonna hold on to the backs of our thighs, roll on down. We're gonna let knees come together, or feet come together, knees fall out. And keep it really easy here. Just breathe into this reclined bound angle pose. Begin to slow your heartbeat and your breath. And now push the feet together and slowly bring the knees into one another. Just bringing some muscular support to the inside of your legs and hips, resetting the sacrum perhaps if you have a hypermobile sacrum. And then knees come into the chest, hug yourself, come into a static happy baby, rooting the sacrum down, enjoying the length of your entire spine from tailbone through the crown of the head. One last hip opener here, keep pulling the knees down towards your armpits. And then stretch on out for your Shavasana. Palms face up to support the back of the heart center. Legs roll out. Make sure your toes are relaxed. Your fingers are relaxed. Let the skin on your face get very soft. Let your eyes get warm and sink a little lower back into their sockets. Relax your chest and belly. Finally, relax your hips here. Release all effort in this Shavasana. We'll be here for about a minute. As usual, you can pause it here if you'd like to stay longer. Take about 5 more breaths in silence. begin to deepen your breath. Maybe sigh out through your mouth. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Option to stretch your arms above your head in a nice full body stretch. And roll on over to either side. Resting your head on your arm like a pillow, and pause here. And then push yourself up. Close your eyes and let yourself feel however you're feeling. Maybe you feel what they call yoga stoned and you're just relaxed and nice. Maybe, hopefully, it's not hurting worse. Just be content with what you did. It was more than enough. And I thank you so much for opening your hips along with me on this hip journey. This is Phoebe again with Yoga TX. And if you'd like more information on me, my website is www.phoebedyoga.com. Namaste. Whatever's pent up there, breathe in space. And then exhale it out. Again, I welcome you to stay here longer if you need. If you're following me, we're going to come back up to tabletop position.